We're in Manti, Utah, Sanpete County. Manti is the county seat of Sanpete County. Behind me, you can see the temple. Manti was founded in 1849, same year as the gold rush in California, or not in California. After an invitation by the indigenous people, Brigham Young sent people down here in the winter of 1849, where they camped out on the hill behind me where the temple currently is. Since they settled in the winter, it was cold. Half their cattle froze to death. They huddled up there, and as soon as spring arrived, they found out that rattlesnakes are a problem here. There are a lot of rattlesnakes here. But luckily, according to reports, nobody was bit. You can read into that whatever you want. I call it luck. After battling with the rattlesnakes, relations with the indigenous people quickly deteriorated, leading to the Wakora and later Black Hawk Wars. Chief Wakora was the leader that invited them down to originally settle, and is got plaques right over here, and I believe is actually this gentleman, this fine looking fella right here, and he looks like I wouldn't mess with him, man. He's handsome too. Anyway, this fine young gentleman right here. For our 5K tour, it's a little bit chilly today. Hopefully not so much if anybody's following with us. Manti's got some hills, so be ready for that before you run. Let's go ahead and get it started. After our first loop around the park, where you get to watch or see the beautiful temple along with the park across the street, here's the information you want to know on the temple. The site was dedicated in 1877 by Brigham Young after he came down 4 months before his death, from what I remember. It took 11 years to build, as keeping skilled workers in the area was tough, and it cost $1 million in 1877 money to build. Stacy will put that somewhere what that equals today. It's a lot. It's the 5th oldest temple and the oldest temple in Sanpete County. It is, in my opinion, also one of the more beautiful ones. Up on the hill where it's at and stuff. It's just really nice to look at. This used to also be the site of what they called the Manti pageant, which was a big deal here in this little town and actually drove the economy quite a bit. That pageant has been canceled about 2 years ago now, so that pageant does not happen anymore, and the temple has been recently renovated after they canceled the Manti pageant. Hopefully they bring it back, because it was something that helped the economy here quite a bit, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, Manti temple, one of the best ones, 5th oldest in Sanpete County. Cost a lot to build and took 11 years to build as well, and I believe the stone was quarried nearby. So there you go. Let's keep running. This is the Manti High School. Not a lot interesting about that, except our earlier town that we've spoken about, Ephraim, which has a college. Their students bus to here for high school though. So I find that interesting. Our second stop after the temple is the Ezra Shoemaker House, built in 1866. Ezra served as the mayor twice. And the house was due to be demoed in 2002, but was saved and is still lived in today, I believe. So this also was the first house in Manti to have electricity. So pretty cool. For the previous mentioned Manti pageant, this is where the seating would be for the actual pageant, and it takes the plays or whatever take place at the top where that stuff is, as well as they incorporate the temple in the actual theatrics, and everybody sits down here on the grass. All right. Ahead of me is a memorial to the first settlers. When they first came here, this is the same hill that the temple's on, just on the back side of it. This is a replica of the type of dugouts they basically constructed and lived in to survive that first winter. That same winter that half the cattle froze. So they dug into the hill a bit and basically made a three-sided building as their shelter. And this is a replica of that, a memorial of them. So, kind of cool. You can see how rattlesnakes would be a problem here. Also, that cliff stuff up there, I used to like to play on that stuff and try to climb on it. That's not really part of the Manti tour. That's just personal Tyson tour. All right, behind me is the Ed Roth Museum, or Ed Big Daddy Roth. Ed Roth is actually the creator of Ratfink, that mouse guy that likes to ride around on hot rods and motorcycles a lot. He was the inventor. He's from Manti. This is the museum dedicated to him. Popular pop culture type character. Ratfink Museum, or Ed Roth. Behind me is the First Presbyterian Church of Manti. It was built in 1881, cost $4,000 to build, and was sourced by local stone and material as well. It is no longer used as First Presbyterian Church, but is run by American Legion and is used to this day for that. The bell on top actually still rings every 4th of July to celebrate our independence. I got the A.O. Anderson furniture store behind me, built around 1900, and was funded by A.O. Anderson. He found gold in Klondike, brought his gold back, and used that to fund his family business, which is still not necessarily his business today, we don't know, but it's still a furniture store to this day. So about 100 years, 120 years later now, still a furniture store founded by A.O. Anderson, with him finding gold. And it's kind of a cool blue building. Behind me is the tabernacle. Try not to let y'all look at my nose here, where you can see the steeple. Built in 1878, it took 4 years, so 78 to 82 to build. Sourced locally stone, once again, like many of the buildings in Sanpete County. It's got these cool little arched windows. All the windows in it are arched. It's built in a Gothic style with a Victorian steeple. Alright, behind me is the Carnegie Library. Built with a grant from Andrew Carnegie, steel bearing guy in Pittsburgh. In 1912 this was built. It was built or started to be built by a club that was locally founded called the Women's Library Club. And they basically did the work to get this done. This is still a library today. It's one of 23 Carnegie libraries in Utah that was donated by money from Andrew Carnegie. Thank you, Andrew Carnegie. Pittsburgh rules, I guess. Or at least that part. I've never been to Pittsburgh. Across the street, once the cars stop coming, it's the Bishop Storehouse. This was founded in 1905 and was created to help the needy with basically supplying food and stuff. It's got 2 doors under the portico, as well as a beehive-shaped cupola. Did I say that right? Cupola. Architect friends, at me in the comments. It is still in use today as a storehouse to still continue to help the needy with food. Behind me is the Sanpete County Courthouse, built in 1935. This is the new Sanpete County Courthouse. The original was actually built, or in front of it, and they built this one behind it and left the original there until this one was complete. At that point, they demolished the first one, or the original. We don't know when the original was built, but the courthouse behind me, 1935. This is the original Manti City Hall, built between 1873 and 1882. It is one of the oldest city halls in Utah still. It is built in an Italian style, which is rarely found actually outside of Salt Lake City in Utah. So pretty rare for these country parts. And today, there's still a small visitor center and museum found on the main hall. So still in use today as that stuff. This may be wrong, but this might be the original Manti Hotel, which was used as basically lodging for the steel workers as they worked on the temple back when it was being built. We're not 100% sure. We think it is. What's that plaque say?
It is.
It's Utah Historic Site. So yes, it looks like it's now a restaurant today. But yeah. If you're doing the loop, it's a little over 5K. Stacy stopped the video at 5K, just short of where we are parked. That is Manti in 3 miles or 5 kilometers. This one's got some elevation gain, folks. Luckily, most of the way back is downhill. It's just a heads up for those running it. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Manti is a small town, but one of my more favorite ones in Utah. So we normally like to feature a local restaurant that's locally owned. We are filming this on Sunday. Manti doesn't have any restaurants open on Sunday. So because of that, there seem to be many great ones. There's 3 or 4 we want to try. Unfortunately, we just don't have the opportunity. So no restaurant in this one, but hopefully in the next one. As always, stay safe, keep pushing, and join us for the next 5K tour.